Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be showing you one of the different ways in which you can convert a scanned document, in this example, an image file, to an accessible PDF. So to begin, we would locate our scanned documents. I have mine saved in my screenshot folder. All right. Once you open the document, you would notice that the document has some shaded area, right, on the document, which can interfere with the OCR recognition. So in order to take that out, I would open the scanned documents using Paint application in Microsoft or in Windows. If you use a MacBook, I'm sure there will be an equivalent tool that you can use to do the same thing. So once the document is opened in Paint, I would zoom out and then use the select tool in Paint to crop out the document, excluding the black edges, so that the OCR tool does not have to deal with those edges. All right. So once the area I want to crop is selected, I would click on the crop tool. Now, by selecting the crop tool, it has taken out the black edges. Then I would zoom in to 100% and then save the file as a PNG picture. So I'm just going to name it scan document edited, and I would save it in my screenshot folder. Now I have the document saved. I would navigate to my screenshot folder, right click on the scanned document edited, which is the document I just edited in Paint, and click on convert to Adobe PDF. If you don't have that option, there's a high probability that you do not have the Acrobat Pro version. And so I would advise that you reach out to IT, because as faculty, you should have access to the Pro version. Now, once you open the document in Acrobat Pro, one of the first things that will be displayed on your screen is a scanned page alert. And basically, this alert is just telling you that the page contains an image, and would you want to run the text recognition tool to make the text on the page accessible. I would click on yes on this. All right. And once you click on yes, it would ask you, another pop-up will be displayed that will ask you on which of the pages do you want the text recognition tool to run. So because we have only one page, I'll just select the current page. But if this was multiple documents, you can select the all pages and it will run on each page of the document and extract the text from the image. All right, so I'll click on OK, and take a couple of minutes to convert the scanned document to editable text and images. All right, once that's completed, again, you would have another pop-up displayed that will ask you to prepare document for screen reader. And basically, in the pop-up, the message displayed is that the document isn't accessible to a screen reader. Acrobat will prepare the document for reading based on your screen reader setting. Of course, I would click continue on this pop-up menu. All right. Again, it will take a couple of minutes to prepare the documents for reading. Once that is done, then if you select any text on the file, you'll notice that you can actually select the text. All right, so just to ensure that our document is fully accessible, another thing we want to do is we want to use the accessibility tool in Acrobat Pro. So to do that, from the All Tools menu, you would click on View More and look for the tool called Prepare for Accessibility. Once you click on Prepare for Accessibility tool, it will provide you with a list of options. The first option, which is very, very important, is to automatically tag PDF. So I'll click on that. So basically, by tagging the PDF, is going to help screen readers users to be able to navigate the file. So it's going to be able to say, this is a heading, this is a paragraph, and screen reader users to be able to use this navigation information to access the documents. Now, before the tagging is complete, you would get a pop-up menu or a prompt from Acrobat to ask you to save changes before the tagging is complete. So I'll click on yes to save the changes, right? And then select the folder where I want the file to be saved. All right, so I'm just going to navigate to the folder where I want it to be saved. I will save it in my screenshot folder so that I have it accessible. And then you can name the file whatever. So I'm just going to call this accessible PDF. All right, and then you save. Once you are done saving, you should see a list of tags pop up right on the right side of the screen. But take note that these tags were generated after we save the document. So we need to ensure that we save the changes to the document. So I would hit save again to save the tags that have been created for this document. Also, if your document had images, right, there is the option to add alternative text to your images. So if you click on the add alternative text tool on the left-hand side of the screen, Acrobat Pro would display a pop-up that will just basically tell you that it's going to check your whole document to see if there is any figure in the document. And if there is a figure, for each figure, it would show you the add alternate text field for you to add the alt text for your images. All right, so I'll just click on OK, and then you can see as displayed on the screen that there is a pop-up that says there is no figure image information to display because my scan document does not have an image. All right, so once that is done, again, you want to just ensure that you hit the save button from time to time to ensure that all the changes that are made to your document are accessible. All right, so the final thing you want to check is you want to check the reading order. Right. So the reading order is basically what tells you how the document is going to be read to the screen reader. So you know, okay, what is going to be read first, what is going to be read second, third. So for this document, the first thing that will be read will be the chapter title, right? Followed by the information just below the title, followed by the author, and then the paragraph, right? So if this is wrong, then you want to use the information in the reading order tool to reorganize the reading order so that your students are not confused when they read your document. All right, so I'm just going to close this. So of course, there are other tools that are available within the Prepare for Accessibility tool. So you want to go through them depending on your document. So for example, if your document has fields that students should fill out, you want to use the identify form fields to actually ensure that you identify those fields correctly. All right, so once that is saved, now to test if your document is actually accessible, one of the things I try to do is to use a screen reader to read the document myself. But in the case where you do not have a screen reader, right, you can use the read aloud tool in Microsoft Edge browser. So what I would do next is I would go to the folder where I have my document saved, right? I would right click on the document, that's the accessible document I just created, and click on open with Microsoft Edge. Once I click on open with Microsoft Edge and I click on the read aloud tool, right, it would read out the content of the document. So if there, and this will just give you an idea. All right, so basically by using the read aloud tool, it gives you an idea of how a screen reader user would access the content. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and I'll be able to assist. Of course, the next step as a professor will be to upload the file in Blackboard and allow Ally to determine if the file is accessible. If you have any questions, please reach out to us and we'll be able to support you. Thank you for your time and bye for now.